Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the discussion portion of the video. If you want to see the reaction video, click on this link or in the description down below. I would appreciate it if you check that out, if that is something that interests you. But other than that, let's get into it. Yeah, hello and welcome. This is the discussion portion of our video to Jujutsu Kaisen episode 16, and I do hope you did find this video well. We're seeing how this stuff goes. Let's jump right into it, right? Yeah, we're starting this out with like something of Ijiji-senpai. I thought it was going into maybe some technical stuff, but we're using that to transition more to what we learn about curse techniques, right? And we are comparing art, which is very cool, very interesting, especially for somebody who is creating manga, right? We're creating art to fighting, right? Unless you cultivate the eyes to discern good from bad, right, you won't be able to actually improve, to improve the hands that create works of art. And this all applies to all kinds of fields, right? And what Todo is doing is he appreciates fighting as an art form, right? For him, this is a way of living, but also a way to express himself, to express his own personality, his identity, the way he is. And he uses this as a means to actually teach Yuji in this case, or in general teach other people that he deems worthy, to become better at this field of practice. And holy fuck, look at this. This is so fucking amazing. The way we use this rotating shot, and we do literally have stellar animation going on here. Obviously the figures themselves, like the characters themselves, they're not very high resolution, but from this distance, obviously we would have to paint them or to draw them in low resolution, because if we would draw them in high resolution, it would look really weird to our eyes, especially in comparison with the environment. And as we zoom in, we're actually showing what's happening on the detail, which is really cool, right? This blockage move from Todo, and well, I think Yuji's blocking here. Todo went out with the elbow, and then this instant thing, right? We do have this movement on twos, I would say, probably on twos. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, and then we move on a 1 immediately and zoom in to get the impact frame going, which is really cool. This is how you create impact, right? This is how you create speed. You go from one momentum, right, one rhythm that we established, to the next rhythm that we established. And the important thing here is also that we actually leave the viewers, the audience, the room to realize that this pattern is going on. So we need to establish the shot. If we just showed Yuji immediately kicking Todo, this shot would not be as impressive and wouldn't express the same amount of movement that we see here, than as if we do it actually properly, which is we're setting up the shot, we're creating this rhythm 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're interrupting it with a 1, with an immediate bam, right? Because this is not what our brain expects, and suddenly our brain is like, oh, something changed about the movement. And we only need one single fucking frame to actually realize that, because it's such an impressive thing, right? Our brain is our brain is a pattern recognition machine. And if that pattern recognition machine actually realizes some pattern is going on, and suddenly the pattern is interrupted by another form of pattern, right? Or maybe even in some cases, also the pattern is interrupted by having a frame or two where there is no pattern at all, right? We do leave everything in the open. That also creates a kind of feeling that is in a shot. But in this action sequence, obviously what we're playing with here is the 1s and the 2s, and maybe sometimes the 3s, right? We have seen that in other in other shows before, but we've also seen it in the early, like episode 1, 2, and so on of Jujutsu Kaisen. We've seen that Gojo fighting Sukuna and Yuji actually trying to kind of wrangle with that one curse that he was trying to save his friends from, and Megumi, who was at the brink of death at that point. But we've also seen it in other anime, like Osama Ranking, for example, one of the final episodes where we have that crazy animation sequence and we constantly change the frame timings with shooting movement on 2s, on 3s, right? And we're shooting the environment that's behind us moving at a different pace at the characters that are in front of us, which is also a very cool way to display these differences. And as we change the frame timings of both of those in different ways, we can actually accelerate and decelerate more than we would if we just change the frame timings of one of those. But yeah, enough animation talk. Really cool shots. We have a lot of amazing just shots that could be framed and whatnot. And we're teaching, oh yeah, I love that one. And we're actually forming it out, right? We're not just being like, all right, you flipped them over. We're actually just showing how one would properly do that in this technique, right? And these are inspired by real fighting techniques, I would assume, because this is how it partially looks like. But yeah, we're gonna get taught that an average sorcerer would be, an average curse as well as an extension of that would probably be surprised and thrown off by the way Yuji's Diverging Fist works, but at the same time, he's saying that experienced sorcerers as well as special grades will not be able to, or will be able to pick that up immediately, and they will not be thrown off, so you won't have that surprise effect going on. So what do you do in that case? Well, you need to improve your technique, right? And what he's saying is, oftentimes we concentrate on like just expounding the curse in different ways, right? We throw a punch, we do a kick and whatnot. We direct the energy in our bodies going to specific places. And you can do that as well when you're doing like, when you're doing like in therapy, there's, I don't even know how it's called in English, but there's a thing where you're doing a lot of attentiveness of body, right? You're becoming more aware of every single limb that that is in your body, how it feels at the moment, right? You're trying to heat it up in your mind, basically, not actually properly heating it up, but creating different sensations just by the sheer will of your mind, which is often creating this feeling of control and also a heightened sense of attention to these specific parts of the body. It's often used in combination with like stress therapy and imaginary therapy, right? Where you go like on an imaginary journey that's supposed to give you get you into a calm state of mind. And these techniques, right? We can transfer that kind of, right? We can transfer that to sports as well when you're doing specific exercises in the gym and you are starting to work a muscle and you're starting to specifically start working. In the beginning, you won't have a proper feeling for how that muscle works, but if you've been doing that for a year or 2 or 3, you're starting to feel every single single angle and connotation to the muscle. You're starting to feel how it moves and how it feels while it moves, and you're going to be way more in tune with your body. That's like the mind-body connection, and this is what he's saying. And what they do in terms of like their curse techniques is like they're putting the curse out at different parts of their body. But what they forget to realize is that we're all part of a whole. And this doesn't just go for our body. He says, obviously, it's our body as well, right? We need to see the body as a human unit, and the fluctuations in energy that are going on are supposed to be throughout the entire body, which makes sense if you think about the fact that even in like real life examples, real biological systems work that way, that yes, you do have single aspects that are happening in different parts of your body, but one influences the other, and you do have cascading effects that are influencing your entire body as a whole. Your neurochemistry, right, in the brain, for example, having more output of like a neurotransmitter in one area of the brain is gonna stimulate adjacent parts of the brain. It is gonna change your neurochemistry in general, your chemical soup that's inside of your body, all of that stuff. And but also we're part of a whole, right? All of us, everything around us is matter. Well, not it's waves, but you know what I mean. We do exist in a space that is not void. We are not the only thing that is within that space, but we are surrounded by things and connected to them, and those things are connected to other people as well, right? So we have to see the whole thing as a unit, which is very interesting and very cool, and I do think we need to pay more attention to that. And it is a cool way to display this, or to enhance the theory of how the curses work and how how to use your techniques. I do love how we do actually see a lot of like pictures of nature, beaches, forests, right? There's this sense of life that is created when we look at these pictures and look at the scenery that is being displayed to us. The solemnness of the mountains, right? But also the vividness of the trees in the forest. With the sunlight shining through it. And this shot kind of reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist when we have the all is one and one is all episode, right? This is literally that, right? That we realize we're part of a bigger system, and then we have to apply that to ourselves. And now we can fight properly, we clap hands, and then we're gonna get it started. And this is basically him being the senpai and teaching his friend, his future best friend maybe. But we switch over and learn a little bit more. Nobara is pissed off as fuck. I can't wait to see how her fight is gonna go. She's less experienced, right? And she's gonna have less skill, not gonna be able to put up against maybe people like Mekamaru, the second years, the third years, but we have a first year here, right? So it's first year against first year, and we're gonna be able to pit them against one another and see what they're capable of, each one of them. Maybe somebody else is coming into the dynamic and Nobara will actually be able to fight off two people, which would make her more badass in the narrative, right? While at the same time keeping her power level to a degree that we don't have to actually say she's strong in the second or third years or whatever. I do love these little expressions that we see where we are clearly realizing that she is doing this because first of all she is pissed off herself, and second at like them trying to kill Yuji and whatnot, which is swirling with her emotions. She was very emotional when she realized that Yuji was actually alive, which surprised me, right? That she was so vulnerable in that moment. It was like, hey, what the fuck? Dude, I cried for you. But explain this, please. But yeah, I don't want to be on her bad side when she's in a bad mood. Holy fucking shit. But yeah, Mekamaru attacks and Panda's actually getting in, and we have that quick flash of what we see later on and get explained why he is the way he is. He got born with a very crippled and a very damaged body, right? A very vulnerable one as well. Probably wouldn't have been able to survive if it wasn't for his talent for curses and curse techniques. And he's on life support even now. This reminds me of the Matrix movies when you have like the thing in the back of your head, or some kind of like some other dystopian futuristic movies where you do have a lot of like machinery / human flesh interaction going on. But yeah, we do have a really, really cool fight between the two of them. I probably not gonna point out all of them, but we do have a couple of really cool shots. Him going in for his ultra spin, get that spiral energy. Wow, fight the power, right? Zooming in on the eye, classic JJK, and we're holding the shot for a second, and then we're smidging him to be a little bit wider in order to create this spear effect, and we're going in with the impact shot, which is cool. Nice, beautiful attention to detail here with the squirrel being in high poly detail, dropping the nut and actually being like, hell no, I'm gonna get out of here. You don't even see that all that much when you're actually watching it, but it's like, or let's say it's hard to notice, right? But this is the great stuff about anime that actually go, or even manga that go beyond, right? That they put out this attention to detail, to even the little things that kind of fill out our world beyond the very important and cool stuff that's happening. But yeah, Panda. All right, here we do have actually the scale. Let me see. This is where everyone stands. Toto is first grade, makes perfect sense, right? We have semi-first grades with our I don't know his name properly, his curt speech user, and our arrogant guy who doesn't want to accept Yuji as a sorcerer. We do have Megumi actually being on second grade, which is really cool and interesting to see what his cursed energy relates to. And we do seem to have her, I forgot her name, actually also be on second grade. Interesting. Right, so we do have probably like sorcery rankings, right? These are the magicians, and Toto is actually just so fucking baller that he has both, right? He has great curse technique and control and whatnot, but he's also very strong and muscular. But this is why Yuji, for example, can kind of be on one level with him, because while he is not very good and experienced in using curse techniques, he's obviously very strong, and probably stronger than all of them in terms of like physical strength, even stronger than Maki. I'm making that guess. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I would assume so. We have semi-second grade, which is Panda, and probably Mekamaru. At least that's in Panda's head right now. We don't know how accurate the scale is, but I would assume that the way this is built in as like whatchamacallit, as the way this is built in as exposition, we are actually supposed to believe this is how it actually is. Then we have third grade, which is Nobara and Mai and Miwa. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they're more on like also the brawly side, but they have some like interesting techniques. Nobara with her voodoo dolls and Mai with her shots. And interestingly enough, I do feel like Miwa is very time-based, not time-based exactly, but timing-based, right? Where you do have like the classical Japanese quick draw kind of style. She uses the samurai sword as well, which would make perfect, like the katana, which would make perfect sense with that. And at the very end, you do have Maki. But we have like that wiggle room where we don't quite know where we are. Amazing shots, all of them. And he's going up, and I was like, no, wait. Are you for real? I do love how the trees are so fucking high detail in this. But I love it, right? It's really great that it's done that way. And we do find out the story of Panda, right? He's a very special case, a reanimated corpse of, I assume, of a panda, with 3 souls, I would say, right? Or 3 curses, kind of, inside of them. Him, which makes up him as a personality, which I find very interesting. I do wonder how that works conceptually. But yeah. He's going full Jojo Ora on him, really great, with the smidges, right? The smidges of the arms being left over, and showing like the impact shots of the punches going in, the different positions that Mekamaru is in during that. But yeah, we come to a point where he's like, well, I'm gonna, alright. I'm gonna fuck you up, and we don't know if Panda is maybe gonna be knocked out, but obviously he's not. This is crazy, holy shit, dude, like, you know how you look? Well, I mean, it's a robot, so whatever. But he's forcing him to actually consider Nobara, who is in the way, and he has to actually block that, so he's like, shit, I'm kind of fucked. I do love this when they do that with like the fire, where we do have like a laser beam or a fire beam or whatever going in, and we have that very tiny smidge of the beam coming in before the main impact shot is actually going out. It creates a very cool effect when you actually have it in full, right? Really amazing. And we're going into manga like black and white at the end of this. Really cool, really cool. I love it. Not a fan of the fire effects. And this is like your one mistake. Just walk away from a scene where you do feel like you have won. That is the moment you lose. But yeah, I love how he's out of focus in the shot, and we're already focusing back on Panda when he starts to say like, oh, you revealed your hand, kind of bad. And now we do have this raw energy of like him being in ape mode, which is really, really cool. I do love the almost Evangelion design on the eyes. Get to know more about him, and I do love how the edginess of his design as well, because you see like apes, gorillas, they are not like all corners, right? They are not, but they are as close to that as you would get as a normal animal shape, right? Which is like you have a very clear, distinct jawline. You do have very clear edges, right? The opposite of round. And it's very greatly drawn in that way, fully drawn in that way. And we do find out he has 3 cores, and we don't know what the sister core is because he got taken out immediately. So I'm like, this is gonna be a mystery, right? They're gonna keep that to reveal it at an opportune moment and be like, ha, this was a secret weapon all along. Right, at least that's my guess, right? Because he is normal, Panda is balanced and probably relatively skilled. Gorilla is like the brute force brawler, berserker kinda. And then what, or who is the sister, right? Yeah. A lot of amazing shots in here. I do love the entire episode. We go back to his wish, right? To one day just spend time with them physically, which is amazing. But I do gotta say, like, after that stroll, I was like, that group dynamic is problematic, right? The 3 girls literally just avoiding the boys because they're like, they're kind of hard to deal with. Like, they're not bad, but I don't want to. I want to keep dealing with them. So they all shove it onto Mekamaru, and Mekamaru is like, well, I guess it's nice to be dependent on. And I'm like, boy, don't let yourself get used that much, okay? I mean, it's nice to be dependent on, but you're the kind of personality who's gonna do everything for some people just because they're like, oh yeah, you're so dependable. Don't do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next time with some crazy shots with Maki. This is gonna be something really cool. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, this has actually been the discussion video. The reaction video is in a separate video, probably linked in the description down below. I do appreciate that you're here and that you have been watching till the end. We'll see how this new experiment of mine goes in terms of like the reaction and discussion videos being separated. If you did like all of this, if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, give me a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. Check out the Patreon if that's something for you, early access to different series and whatnot. Check out the Discord, it's free, right? You can join. It's not very active, but we talk occasionally and it's really cool, and probably you will have the most like on-time updates on what's going on the channel, and if there's a delay, I'll probably post it on Discord first and foremost, and then maybe after a day or two I'm gonna post it on Patreon if it's gonna take longer and whatnot. So if you want to stay informed, or if you just want to talk about the series I'm reacting to, or just about my reactions in general, my videos overall, just check out the Discord. We'd be glad to have you. Yeah, and until next time, in a video, right? We're gonna react to Jujutsu Kaisen episode 17. I don't know if it's this week or next week, but it's gonna be definitely soon. So I'll see you then.